2 months ago, something happened that I'm only now able to talk about without my blood boiling. I'm 32M, and I was dating Melanie, 29F, for just over 3 years. We met through mutual friends at the opening of a brewery. She's a dental hygienist, and I run a small but successful vintage motorcycle restoration shop with 4 employees. About a year ago, Melanie moved in with me after her roommate broke their lease. It was supposed to be temporary, just until she found another place. But somehow it turned permanent. She never officially picked up any bills. I own my house. It had been my grandfather's, and business was good, so at the time, it didn't seem like a big deal. 6 months after she moved in, she lost her job. She said it was because of a personality conflict with the dentist she worked for, but later I found out she was chronically late. I supported her for about 3 months while she found a new job. During that time, I added her to my phone plan, set up Netflix and Hulu accounts for her, and even added her as an authorized user on one of my credit cards. She insisted it was just for emergencies. Once she was working again, she never once offered to cover any bills or even remove herself from my accounts. When I gently suggested maybe she should get her own credit card now that she had an income, she accused me of keeping score in the relationship, so I dropped it. Last month, her friend Amber had a co-ed bridal shower. I wasn't thrilled about going, but Melanie pushed because lots of her friends, including some I knew, would be there. It was at a fancy restaurant. Private room, about 20 people, mostly couples. The first hour was fine. Food, drinks, silly games. Then they played a game where the bride and groom answered questions about each other. After it ended, one of Amber's bridesmaids, Taylor, I think, looked at our table and asked Melanie if I was going to propose soon. Before I could even react, Melanie burst out laughing. "Please," she said loudly, "if he ever gave me a ring, I'd melt it down and sell it." Everyone roared. Then someone else joked, "At least you could pay off your Nordstrom card." And Melanie added, "Right? I mean, I love Mike, but marriage to a guy who spent his days covered in grease? My parents would die." More laughter. I just sat there, stunned. We had talked about marriage before, nothing serious, but enough that I thought we were on the same page. And here she was, not only mocking the idea, but also making fun of my work, something I take a lot of pride in. I couldn't sit through the rest of the evening. I got up, said nothing, and drove home. My phone blew up with texts from her. "Where are you? Did you seriously leave? What the hell, Mike? Pick up your phone." I ignored all of them. I sat at my kitchen table for a long time, thinking about everything, about how much I'd given, about how she saw me. Was I just some joke to her? When she finally got home, Taylor had driven her. I was out in the garage working on a '78 Honda CB750. I needed something to keep my hands busy. Melanie came in furious, demanding to know why I had left. I asked her, "Did you mean what you said about melting down a ring?" She rolled her eyes. It was a joke. Everyone was laughing. I told her, I noticed at my expense. She snapped back, "Don't be so sensitive. You know how my friends are." I asked her directly, "Do you even want to marry me someday?" She just huffed. "We're not having this conversation right now. I had to get a ride home because you had a man feelings crisis. I'm going to bed." I didn't say anything else. I didn't follow her. I stayed out in the garage, sleeping on the ratty old couch I keep out there. The next morning, while she was still asleep, I went to work. From there, I called the credit card company and removed her from my account. I called my cell carrier and shut off her line. I changed the passwords on all the streaming services. I froze my checking account, opened a new one, and moved my money. I wasn't trying to be cruel. I just realized I didn't owe her anything anymore. She didn't respect me, and I wasn't about to keep supporting her. I didn't hear from her all day, which was strange for her. When I finally got home that night, she was waiting for me, worried. "My car got declined at lunch," she said, looking confused. "Yeah, I told her I took you off the account." Her eyes went wide. "What? Why would you do that?" "Because it's my account," I said. "And after yesterday, I'm reconsidering a lot of things." She stared at me like I'd slapped her. "Are you punishing me for a stupid joke?" "No, I said, keeping my voice steady. I'm reevaluating why I'm paying for everything for someone who clearly doesn't respect me. Someone who mocks me behind my back to her friends. That set off a huge fight. She accused me of being controlling, manipulative, and cheap. She threw around insults, saying that real men take care of their women, and that I was throwing away 3 years of our relationship over nothing. I stayed calm, which only seemed to enrage her more. When she finally paused a breath, I said, I think you should stay somewhere else for a few days so we can both think about what we really want. She exploded at that. This is my home, too, she yelled. I reminded her calmly. Your name isn't on the deed, the mortgage, or any of the utility bills. Legally, you're just a guest here. She screamed something at me and stormed out, saying she'd stay with her friend Amber. I figured that would be the end of it, at least for a little while. But around 2 o'clock in the morning, my phone pinged. My security camera had picked up motion at the front door. I pulled up the feed and saw Melanie trying to unlock the door with her key. She didn't know I'd already had the locks changed that afternoon, thanks to a friend who's a locksmith. Through the camera, I watched her struggle with the lock, then start pounding on the door and ringing the bell nonstop. I didn't answer. Eventually, she gave up and went back to her car. The next morning, I noticed her car was still in my driveway. When I looked closer, I saw she was sleeping in the back seat. I went outside and asked, "Why are you sleeping out here?" She looked rough, mascara smeared, hair tangled. Amber's fiancé didn't want me staying there, she mumbled, and my car got declined at the hotel. I asked if she could stay with her parents or any other friends. My parents are in Florida. I don't want to explain this to anyone else, she said. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. There's a Holiday Inn Express about 2 miles away. I said, I'll cover 3 nights. That should give you time to figure things out. She asked, and then what? We just throw away 3 years together because of one comment. I answered, it wasn't just a comment, Melanie. It was realizing that you don't respect me or what I do, and maybe you never did. I paid for her hotel, even helped her gather some clothes and essentials, but I made it clear we were over. She needed to make arrangements to get the rest of her stuff. Over the next 2 weeks, she cycled through phases: anger, bargaining, tears. She insisted she never meant to hurt me, that all her friends made fun of their boyfriends and husbands, that it was just jokes. Later, she changed tactics, claiming that I had financially abused her by cutting her off without warning and making her dependent on me. She said I owed her for all the months she contributed to the household. When I asked what she thought her contributions were, she said groceries, which she mostly bought with my card, occasional cooking, and emotional labor. I told her if she really believed she had a case, she was welcome to take me to court. She dropped it after that. It's been 2 months. She moved into a studio apartment across town and is now dating some guy from her dental office. I managed to recover most of the money she charged my card, thanks to consumer protection laws. I changed every password, every account, every subscription. The house feels peaceful again. I've even gone on a few casual dates, but nothing serious yet. Sometimes I wonder if I overreacted. Then I remember the way she looked when she made that joke about melting down a future engagement ring. Not just what she said, but the ugly, casual contempt behind it. The way she dismissed me and my work just to get a laugh. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. A week later, some follow-up. Yes, I know changing the locks was legally questionable since she still technically lived there. But she had already said she was staying with Amber, and I didn't expect her to try coming back in the middle of the night. If she had really pushed it, I would have let her in. No, she never paid rent or utilities, not even informally. She bought groceries once in a while using my card. That's it. As for emotional labor, she meant things like remember my mom's birthday or managing our social calendar. Never mind that I've never forgotten my mom's birthday in my life, and 90% of the social events were with her friends. Anyway, about the ring. Yes, I was saving up for one before all this. I had around $7,000 set aside. That money is now going toward a new paint booth for my motorcycle shop. Regarding her moving on so fast, it turns out she and that dental office guy had been texting before we broke up. I can't prove anything, but the timing is definitely suspicious. And for those saying I was financially abusive, I fully supported her for 3 months after she lost her job, paid for everything during the year she lived with me, and only asked for basic respect in return. Last week, she tried to reach out again. Showed up at my shop with coffee and a box of apology muffins. She said she realized she had taken me for granted. I thanked her for the apology, but told her nothing had changed. She left quietly. Sometimes the best revenge isn't elaborate. It's just standing firm, keeping your dignity, and walking away. Living well really is the best revenge.